Well, we continue on our way after Ava had to pee. We're on our way back to Ontario tonight. We'll be back around 8 o'clock. A couple of emails. One of them came in from Margot, desperately worried about Arches Rainbow and how her appointment went today. And I actually forgot about it, but I too was super interested. I had a voicemail from the surgeon who I know well, so I picked up the phone and I called her. Get on the phone with Natalie Cote, and she said, am I ever glad that we didn't operate on that horse 2 weeks ago? So what do you mean? She goes, so let me put it to you this way. There was a pimple on both sides of the arytenoids, so they were irritated. The one on the left, the pimple is shrunk, it's gone, and the arytenoid was moving perfectly, which, quite frankly, we've scoped this filly 7 to 10 times in her life. There's always been a little laxity on that left. Always. She said now the only downfall is the right one seemed a little wonky today, a little weak, which never was the case before. And she goes, I went through my notes and spoke to the veterinarian in question. She said, it's always the left, never the right. She goes, so that's good, because there's nothing really there. There's a little tiny bit of a pimple still on the right. That might be it. I said, okay, so I still feel there's a giant butt there. She goes, well, have you ever done a dynamic scope on her? Now, I never have done a dynamic scope on anybody, so this is very important. What they do is they literally rig up a camera, scope, and train the horse with it on to see what the airway is doing at exercise level. It's so cool, isn't it? I've never, a couple of times we almost did it on horses, but never did. I've never, in my entire life, being around horses, training, whatever, I have never ever had a dynamic scope put in a horse. So it's pretty cool. So she said, would you mind doing it? I said, yeah, absolutely, go ahead. So what she's looking for is what? What is going on with the arytenoids while she's at workout speed, workout level? But this entire thing it's weird. Now, I had told you guys her timeline is pushed way back, but that timeline included downtime from operation, which I told you, quite frankly, a couple of times, I just assumed she would have to have. We've scoped her so many times that she's always been a little weak on the left side. And as I said to you before, I'll absolutely defer to the specialist, the surgeon on this. She wanted to wait, wanted to treat her more aggressively for a deep infection in that arytenoid. Learn something new every day. Lo and behold, it did help. And her left side was great. Right side was a little weakish, but is something similar going on. My biggest question from all this is, will it return? And I guess that's where the dynamic scope comes in. What's she doing at top speeds? Are the arytenoids working properly? Are they overworking? Are they underworking? You know, is there something going on there? And if there is, how do we address that and how do we fix it? None of these are super complicated. They are, but they aren't at the same time. It's as simple as, okay, if they're working properly, fine. Let's continue to treat that arytenoid area aggressively until we have it in a place where we can maintain it and not have to worry about any other pimples forming there. So I guess the biggest takeaway from this is we were super lucky, because I was absolutely all but ready to say, okay, tie that back, which would have been extremely invasive surgery, which appears wasn't needed. So lo and behold, the medical professional, the specialist, the surgeon, was correct in waiting and not wanting to do that. So thanks very much to Natalie. I am curious how this dynamic scope's going to look. It's probably going to have to wait about 10 days to do it, because she's been literally stall and field bound for 4 to 6 weeks. So you're going to have to get back to jogging her a little bit, and at that point, then we'll set up that dynamic scope. So I'm going to call it February 1st. February 1st, I think, is when she'll probably want to do it, there in abouts. So the good news and the takeaways I said from today was, it worked. The treatment for that left side of her throat, that left arytenoid, worked, and it is working properly. I'm happy to report today. The right is a little weaker, but never has been before. So we'll continue on with the course of medications to clean that out. We'll start jogging her. We'll put the dynamic scope on her. And at that point, we'll have a much clearer picture of what's going on with her, how we treat her, and what that looks like long-term and short-term. So that's where we're at right now with Arches Rainbow. But a big positive step today that we absolutely don't have to do any sort of operation on that left side of her throat. It's treated. It's treatable, and I would think, especially after seeing how successful treating the left side was, the right side shouldn't be too far behind. So, no operation for Arches Rainbow. She'll start back jogging tomorrow, and we'll look for, as I said, that dynamic scope to be put on her somewhere around the 1st of February. So great news, happy to share it, and very happy myself as a partner of you in Arches Rainbow.